Kiren Rijiju, and this one's very close to our heart. Kiren Rijiju ji, I'm from the northeast as well, and it's good to have prominence from that place. Today, of course, a very happy Independence Day to you. I'd like to wish you. Let me begin by asking you about how the Prime Minister today had spoken about Manipur. That was one of the first few things that he had addressed during his speech. In fact, the opposition has said that this ought to have been said much earlier, not just in the parliament and before the parliament, but much earlier, that the Prime Minister perhaps himself should have visited Manipur. How would you respond to this?
First of all, thank you so much for having me, and I would like to extend my greetings to all the viewers of the Times Now for the happy Independence Day. While to begin from the Northeast, today Honorable Prime Minister has very categorically reiterated what he had stated in the Parliament about his commitment to Northeast and his desire to re-establish peace in Manipur. Please remember, the violence that is happening in Manipur is the outcome of a long-standing conflict between two communities, which has turned into violence between Meiteis and Kuki, Zhou, Chin and Mar group. Now, this is not against the Indian forces or Indian state. This is an unfortunate incident and which has resulted in loss of lives. We want to establish peace as soon as possible, and it's quite positive that normalcy is returning slowly. Now, having said that, please remember one thing which I'm going to say, which is very crucial. All the militant organizations in Manipur and in Northeast were formed before 2014. How come Manipur has the highest numbers of militant organizations in the country? How did all those militant organizations in Northeast came into existence? It's because of the apathy, because of the negligence of the central government, because the voice of the Northeast people were never heard. There was nobody in the central government who could pay attention to the voice of the people. So in emotional outbursts, many of the Northeastern youth, finding no place to vent their anger, they had gone out of the mainstream, they took the arms and they started revolting against the Indian state. After Narendra Modi ji became the Prime Minister, since 2014 up till 2023 now, more than 8,000 militants have surrendered with weapons. After 2014, not a single new militant organizations have been formed. There has been absolutely peace in all the states of Northeast except few sporadic incidents. Most of the states are free from Armed Forces Special Powers Act. This incident in Manipur is a very unfortunate, as I stated earlier. It is not a fight against Government of India. It is not an anger against Government of India. It is an unfortunate clash between two dominant communities of Manipur. Right. So, when Home Minister himself went to Manipur, stayed there for 3 days. The MOS home stayed in Manipur for 23 days consecutively. Look at the efforts, what we have made. Look at the efforts of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Those days, when Naga-Kuki clash took place, more than 800 people were killed. Not a single minister, forget about ministers, even a junior officer, a director level officer also did not visit Manipur. Not a single debate and discussion took place in the Parliament House. So what kind of comparison Congress party is going to say? Now what I want to tell finally is, it is a tragedy. We all are working hard to restore normalcy. Don't play politics. Rather, I would advise the Congress party to stand with the government. In this kind of a crisis, one must stand with the government. In normal time, you play politics. But when it comes to the very critical issues which relates to the national interest, we must stand together.
I think everyone agrees with it, that at a time like this, politics should end. However, the opposition again and again said, and this is something that you yourself, Honorable Minister, have said, that this indeed was a tragedy. Then do we expect the Chief Minister, Honorable Mr. Biren Singh, to be replaced? That's what the opposition's primary charge has been. That has been the primary attack. Will there be a change in the top leadership of the state?
The issue is how to bring normalcy in Manipur. Rahul Gandhi says, use Indian army and forcefully restore normalcy. Does Rahul Gandhi want the army to shoot at the common civilians? He has to understand this is not a fight between government of India and the terrorist organization. It is a clash between two communities. So that is why Chief Minister of Manipur has already stated that he is supporting all the efforts being made by the government of India to bring normalcy. Even the DG has been changed, Chief Secretary has been changed. The total operation of the Manipur law and order situation has been taken over by the government of India. So there is no place for politics. Politics is there when it is required to be played. But in this kind of tragic situation, politics should not play. That is why in this kind of crisis, normally the practice is everybody comes behind the government. Everybody unites and support the government. In normal time, play politics. In democracy, you play politics. But in time of crisis, stand with the government. That is the norm.
Okay.
And these shameless people are playing politics even in tragedy also. This is very, very unfortunate.
But the Chief Minister, for the time being, does stay. However, Mr. Rijiju, you had said that now there is peace in the northeast. The opposition on their part have been saying, what about the hot borders? There have been issues. Some of them may be legacy, but this has escalated during the NDA regime, as per the opposition. For example, you know about what's happening between the Assam, Meghalaya, across even with Arunachal, in Manipur, Nagaland. These are the areas, the hot borders of the northeast, and that too being border states. It is a matter of grave concern, wouldn't you say?
You know, Northeast India, which has 8 states, has its own complex situation.
Absolutely.
Especially when Assam was divided into multiple states, like Arunachal was Nefa under Assam, Nagaland was Naga Hills under the state of Assam, Mizoram was Lusai Hills under Assam, Meghalaya with Garo Hills, Jantia Hills and Khasi Hills were all part of Assam. Subsequently, they all formed separate states. During the separation, the Congress government those days did not do anything to delineate the border. They just separated without any concrete delineation or marking on the ground. Now, for decades, there was so much of violence, so much of problems, interstate boundary issues. Every state, the boundary issues very sensitive. Nobody even dared to even touch these issues. The boundary commissions were established, but government did not do anything because the governments did not want to even touch the issues because it was very sensitive. You need a very, very powerful, very gutsy Prime Minister who has a vision to re-establish the peace, can only take up such matter. During Narendra Modi's time, the border issues are being looked into. And Prime Minister Amit Shah ji has already talked to all the chief ministers having the boundary disputes and told them all the chief ministers must sit together and resolve the boundary disputes. Now Meghalaya and Assam, majority of the portions of the border are settled. Arunachal and Assam, majority of the borders are settled, except few of the contentions in some pockets remain.
Yes.
But for that you have to have the guts. Somebody has to take the lead role. If we leave all the problem to the future, then what is the role of us? We have to take responsibility during our tenure. That is why only a visionary Prime Minister with a solid mandate like Narendra Modi ji can only take up the issue like boundary problems between the states in Northeast. And I hope the Northeastern people with full understanding with proper wisdom, will able to solve the interstate boundary problems.
And of course, the vision forward is also going to be with a lot of infrastructure, which has been one of the biggest pushes which is being made in the Northeast by the centre. And I think that is much appreciated. But Rijiju ji, I must ask you about the Prime Minister's speech today. He also talked about the Scrooge of dynasticism. The opposition has, however, reminded the Prime Minister that there are several dynasts in your own ranks. They have named Jyotiraditya Scindia, Anurag Thakur and several others. What's your response to this specific attack?
See, Meghna, Congress party is trying to trivialize the whole issue. Please understand one thing. When Prime Minister says that we must fight against dynasty, means those party who think that their political party is all about one family and that family is more important than the nation. That is what we call dynasty. For Congress party, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi is everything. You can make anybody Congress president, Congress secretary or Congress in charge. For them, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi. That is everything. For them, India is nothing. They may use the word India, but in the core of their heart, that family is everything. That is dynasty which we are fighting against. Here, our people working in different states may belong to same family. There may be a case where father is MP and son has become MP. There may be a case where father is chief minister and son or daughter may have become member of parliament. That is based on performance. That is not you are surrendering everything to the family. Here our leader is Narendra Modi. He is not going to amass wealth for his own family. He is devoting everything for the country. So let us not trivialize this issue. Here,
but the Congress will say Rahul Gandhi is also won elections. He is also here because of merit.
I'm not talking about the winning of election or becoming a member of parliament. I'm talking about the authority. Here, Malika Arjun may be a Congress president. Adir Ranjan may be leader of parliamentary party in the Lok Sabha for the Congress party. But look at the subjugation. They are like subservient to the one family. For them, family is everything. That is dynasty. So please understand, in our party, Narendra Modi is leader and we are all working for the country.
The Prime Minister has also spoken about the Rakshasas of corruption. Is this a direct rebuttal to what we heard Randeep Singh Surjewala yesterday say, his attempt to demonize the BJP's voters?
See, Congress and corruption, these are synonymous. When I was in opposition party, the Congress party used to come to my state with empty briefcase and come back to Delhi with filled stashed with cash money. Congress party office in Delhi also is a center of corruption. Even to meet the Congress leadership, you have to pay right from peon to everybody. To get a sanction from the government of India during Congress time, one has to pay commission to get the scheme sanctioned. So the corruption is the Congress culture. So Congress and corruption are synonymous. That is why if we have to make India a developed country, we have to root out the corruption. Before 2014, every day in the newspaper, in the television, the domination of discussion was on corruption. We were tired of looking at the newspaper filled with corruption cases. After 2014, there is no corruption at the top level. After 2014, no minister, no member of the BJP is ever linked with any corruption. It has been rooted out from the top. So that is why when we talk about corruption, we have to understand Congress and corruption are same thing. They are two sides of one coin. They are synonymous. That is why throw the Congress out means throw the corruption out.
Right.
So one more thing. From 1947 up till 2014, especially when the Congress period of 60 years, Congress ruled this nation for 60 years. In 1947, Japan destroyed in Second World War. South Korea destroyed in Second World War. China just emerged from Nationalist Party to Communist Party in 1947. We all emerged together. Today, Japan has 20 times more per capita GDP. China's total GDP is 5.5 times bigger than India. How this happened? This all happened during Congress time. That is why today India is the fastest growing economy in the world. That means we are catching up only under the leadership of Narendra Modi. So Congress has reduced India to abject poverty. People used to ridicule Indians because India has the largest numbers of poor people. So that is how Congress has rendered this country into that kind of situation. So that is
Mr. Rijiju, because you're talking about the roadmap ahead, it's important for me to also ask you about the education roadmap. That is one of the biggest debates that the country has been seeing, especially today, when you had Chief Minister Siddaramaiah come out and said that the new education policy is going to be scrapped in the state of Karnataka. Kerala has also has had difference of opinion on the NCERT, which had followed the NEP in the revision of the syllabus. Repeatedly, opposition parties are saying that history is being distorted by the NDA and the future of education is being politicized. Your reaction to that?
No, national education policy is a most widely, intensely consulted and brought about document. If anyone who has a concern for the future of the young generation of India will support it. Those who want to destroy the future of the country will not support it. It's as clear as that. National education policy is nothing to do with politics, and I appeal to everyone that Prime Minister's vision and Prime Minister's effort is only to make India a great nation. National education policy is to cater to the need of the young generation for the future of India. One must support it. It is not a right thing to play politics on national education policy.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, the Honorable Minister, for joining us here on the show. With that, a very happy Independence Day. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be slipping into a short break.